So the heroic vineyard, what that means is I didn't know this exists either, but there's apparently a research institute. Acronym is CERVIM, CERVIM. I'm sure that's in Italian or maybe in French, but in English translation is the Research Center for the Studies and Valorization of Mountain Viticulture. And then they have set guidelines that define a quote unquote heroic vineyard, and then what they're kind of defining is essentially like, why the hell would you grow grapes here? Like, it doesn't make any sense here. It's so difficult to make wine or grow grapes here, this must be a passion project. You're essentially a hero, trying to save the land, trying to tell the history, be a steward of the land, and then connect land to history or story, and all of that. So anyway, to be considered as such, it must meet the following specifications, and it's essentially inclination over 30%, altitude of over 500 meters, terrace or stepped vineyards, cultivation on small islands. And essentially all of Grosjean's vineyards meet at least the inclination over 30% and altitude over 500 meters, and terrace and steppe crops. So, I mean, they're on islands. But yeah, so they are essentially calling, they have been certified, or they've been by this Servim Institute as heroic vineyards. So it was on their website. I'd never even heard of that, but you know, you do hear about that word heroic vineyard thrown out quite a bit, and even regions that we've gone to, right? Like, so like we read that Sacra in northern Spain was one of them. Canary Islands, Douro Valley. These I've heard this phrase heroic vineyard pop up. And I thought it was just like a, act or something that people are just, symbolically saying that these are heroic vineyards because, it's a hard place to work. But apparently there's actual certification that happens with it. So with these qualifications. So anyways, I learned something new. Let's get to tasting. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. Again, I'll be riding my bike for the next few days, so I may not respond to you right away. But shoot me an email, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right, so here you go. Let's start with an appearance. This one is clear. It is not super translucent, but yeah, maybe it's definitely not been fine, but maybe it's been filtered, or maybe it's just been wrapped off after settling for a while. But yeah, it's pretty clear. One is pretty clear. Intensity, I'm gonna call this about medium, maybe lower end of medium. Yeah, it's not super dark, but it's not nothing. So I'm gonna call this about medium minus intense ruby. I mean, this is about definition of a ruby color to me. Any other observation? Nothing really. Yeah, no bubbles, no sediments, nothing like that. All right, let's get to the nose. Smells good. Smells pretty. It's very pretty. This wine is clean. This wine is sound, first and foremost. Intensity. I smell it here, which is, yeah, I mean, a few inches off. I'm gonna call this medium plus. It's pretty expressive. Yeah, expressive nose, medium plus intense aromas. Ooh, what do you get? What do we get? Definitely some floral component here. Really pretty, like rose petal, geranium, like, yeah, just something really pretty, like red, like some, maybe even some purple, maybe some violet too. But yeah, something floral, something pretty, very like, ethereal, so to speak. I don't get much green fruit, no citrus fruit, no stone fruit, no tropical. Now, here we go. The red fruit and the black fruit. I definitely get some red fruit here. I get like black raspberry. I get some regular raspberry here too. I get both the red berry and black fruit. I get some red plum. But I do get some like that black raspberry. I know that's a very strange thing, but that's actually if you never had it, you're like, wait, what? There's something black raspberry, but there's black raspberry and it's different from raspberry. It's kind of like riper raspberry. It's hard to explain. It's like a darker raspberry, but I get some of that. There's definitely some black cherry here, blackberry. So there's definitely some of the red fruit, black fruit, but I would almost say it's like there's an equal amount here. Knowing that there's some Fuman that's in here, Fumin is one of the native variety here. That may be what's giving that a lot of black. Fuman tends to be like much darker and blacker. Petit Rouge on its own tends to be a lot redder. So I get a lot of that red fruit, like raspberry, red cherry, red plum, but also some of that like black raspberries and black cherry. Some of that thrown in there here as well, but a lot of red fruit for me. Mostly red fruit with black fruit also thrown in. Like I would say like 80-20. Dry cooked fruit. This was very fresh, very ripe, like beautifully ripe fruit. Nothing underripe about it, and that's what's beautiful about this place, right? Like, yes, it's very high up in elevation. It gets very cold in the wintertime and nighttime, but because of that high elevation, you get high UV exposure. The sun traps the heat. It helps ripen the grapes. So you get this beautiful ripeness despite being in a much cooler place at night or being a high elevation. I mean, this is a beautiful thing about alpine wines, right? Like it's like you get this ripeness, but this kind of minerally structure and acid and liveliness, this kind of like angular structural thing. And I don't know, maybe I'll get in trouble for saying this, but like, you know, like when you look at like mountain people, they're not like when you look at Austrian, you know, German, Swiss Alps people, they're like very angular, even like phenotype, like physical phenotypes are like just very angular kind of people, sharp edges and all of that. And then you look at like a lot more like Mediterranean and like Caribbean, like a warmer place people, and they're like much rounder and softer, you know. And I feel like the wines are kind of like the same thing. Like these mountain wines, alpine wines have these like edges, as opposed to warmer climate wines have this like much more round, softer edges. So it's not that one is better than the other. They're both beautiful and they're great, just like the people. Hey, I'm not saying one is better than the other, but you know, they're just different. But yeah, this is just really ripe, fresh, ripe, but not overripe, not getting into the stewed, jammy thing. Any herbaceous, any herbal? Maybe a touch. There's something a little bit like savory. There's definitely some peppery thing here. I definitely get some pepper. Like beautifully peppery, like white pepper, black pepper, like some sort of like spicy peppery kind of a thing. Maybe a little bit of like, I don't know if this was a fully destemmed or this was it's got some whole cluster on it, but I if I had to bet, I think there's some like whole cluster in here. I get some stemmy kind of that like inclusion in here. It's not green, it's not like piercing, but there's some sort of like a savory kind of like a vegetable matter kind of a thing going on here. Like imagine just like stalks of grapes, like a vine grapes, like that kind of like a savoriness. Minerality? Yeah, I get some minerality here. Not huge, but I definitely get some like crushed rocks. There's some sort of rockiness going on here, for sure. Given, I mean, this is schist. This is a glacially cut out, you know, on a steep slope. You are gonna get some minerals. So it's just, yeah, I definitely get some crushed rocks and things like that. I don't get much secondary. I don't get much tertiary. This is still very much in the primary, fresh kind of wine. Let's get to palate. First and foremost, this wine is delicious. I fucking love this wine. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. It's just elegant. It's got this vibrant, like lift and energy about it, but the food is just so generous. It's fucking great. Yeah, I'm gonna call this dry.
Acidity. I wouldn't go all the way to medium plus here. Maybe medium, high end of medium is what I'm gonna end here. Tannin. There's some tannin, not like super tannic, but there's some. Yeah, not a whole lot. I'm gonna call this like medium minus. Maybe lower than medium, but somewhere between medium minus and medium. Yeah, not super tannic, but there's some. Alcohol. I don't know, 13%? 13.5? Yeah, it's got a little bit of heat, but not too much, so higher in the medium. Body. It's not nothing. I'm gonna call this a medium, about 2% milk. We don't have to talk about mousse. Flavor intensity. Again, this is not, like, it's very expressive to me. Maybe it's not like calling up the chart, but like lower than medium plus, higher than medium, somewhere in there. I'm gonna be generous and go with the medium plus. If you end up medium, I think this is perfectly reasonable, but it's not shy. Like, yeah, very higher than medium is about where I'm gonna end up with that flavor intensity. Flavor characteristics. I'm confirming everything. Like, there's this beautiful floral, kind of a pretty bouquet on top. And then the fruit, I mean, I get so much red fruit here, so much like raspberry, cherry, plum, all of that. And then there's touch of just darkness, just touch of black, dark fruit thrown in there. It's like some of that little black raspberry I was talking about, some of that black cherry, some of that little blackberry. Like, there's some of that like darkness thrown in, but it's like, if I were to quantify it somehow, like 80% red berry, 20% black fruit is kind of what I'm getting at. Beautifully ripe. The fruit is delicious. It's generous. It's juicy. I mean, it is, without being overripe. It's actually perfect amount of ripeness. Very fresh. Herbaceousness. Again, I keep going back to that stem inclusion. I'm gonna double check with my rep to see if there's a whole culture we can find some information, but I'm willing to bet there's some stem inclusion here, because I guess some of that stemminess, you know, oftentimes you hear wine people say like stem spiciness, the spicy whole cluster. Is that it's not like that, like warm spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, and all of that, but like there's some spice of this thing, and it could be I may be getting that some of that old wood. It has spent 6 months in barrel, maybe getting some of that, but yeah, mostly I am getting some sort of like some sort of savory kind of like vegetable matter kind of a thing. Definitely some spicy, like it's a pepperiness going on here. Definitely some the minerality. There's some rockiness. I almost want to say there's even some solidity here. Yeah, I think there's a touch of like solidity here, which is beautiful. No secondary, no tertiary, really. We're all in the primary still. Very fresh, very delicious wine. Finish. Tart cherry, plum, raspberry, all the rockiness. Yeah, it's a good length. I'm gonna call this like medium, high end of medium, medium plus. Yeah, I'm gonna call this medium plus as well. All right, conclusion. Let's talk about it. Is this wine balanced? Yes, it's absolutely well balanced. I do, for some reason, that alcohol peaks out just a little more than I thought it would. That 13.5, but I don't think it's interfering with other things. I just noticed it. But yeah, still very much in balance. Very balanced wine. Intensity. We called it medium plus on the nose, high in the medium, medium plus, between medium plus, lower than medium plus on the palate. So call that medium plus. Complexity. We don't have any secondary, tertiary, but we got all the flower, red fruit, black fruit, some savory vegetables, pepperiness. We got minerality. So decent amount, right? At least medium for sure. And then the length, we call it medium plus as well. So high end and medium, low end and medium plus, but I'm gonna call it medium plus. So when you're looking at all three of them, balanced, medium to medium plus intensity, medium complexity, medium to medium plus length, or medium plus length. So we're landing somewhere between medium and medium plus, but I think we're landing much closer to medium plus than we're landing on medium. So I'm gonna call this very good. Level of drinking readiness and potential for aging. I think this wine is drinking beautifully right now. Like, it's so pretty. The fruit is generous, perfectly ripe. It's so enjoyable. It is like hedonistically delicious to me, this wine. Having said that, it's got the acid, right? We call it medium. I mean, decent acid. A little bit of tannin, like medium. So it's not like hugely, huge backbone for aging, but it's got plenty of medium plus intensity, plenty of intensity here. And the only thing that we squarely put it on medium was the complexity. So as this wine ages a little bit, some of that freshness will change into the non-savory, savory, non-fruit aromas, adding more complexity to it. So I do think this is an interesting candidate for an aging, but I just don't think it's going to take that long for it to age. It's going to probably, with this, like, you know, decent medium level, high end of medium level of acid, and, you know, lower medium, high end of medium minus tannin, it's not going to last that long. So I would say drink this now. It's beautiful, but I think in 3 to 5 years, I think this wine will be singing. It would be like, you would still retain all this freshness, generous fruit, but you would just add some of that maybe tertiary, some of that kind of a transitioning quality to an old wine where it will occur. And I think this wine would be fantastic in there. So I would say drink it now. Maybe pick up a few bottles, lay it down for 3 to 5 years. Check back in 3 years. Check again in 5 years, and then see where it goes. I mean, in 5 years, it's 2023, so this 2 years old already. It's like a 7-year-old wine. So, yeah, this wine to age 7 years, I think that's a pretty awesome. Anyways, so that's my call. Let me know if you disagree with all of that or any of that, or if you have any questions. Now, finally, if you want to guess how much this wine is, click pause and come back to it. But I'm going to say this. Valle outside is expensive. It's not because one, you know, yes, it's under the radar. Nobody really knows about it. But two, mostly it's in the middle of fucking mountains. Like, it is a hard place to grow grapes. It's hard to get there, you know. So all of that. It's hard to get wines out of there to bring it to United States. So all of that costs money. Working there, labor costs money. Just in general, Valle outside is not cheap. Yeah, so I kind of regretted it at first. And when I started putting this together, I'm like, God damn it, this is turning out to be way more expensive than I thought. But we managed to make it happen. But anyways, given all of that, how much would you be happy paying for this? And how much do you think this is on a retail shelf? And the answer is $29. You know, I actually think for $29, this is completely reasonable. It's very good. We called it very good, with a 3 to 5 year aging potential. Drinking beautifully now. It's very approachable and delicious now, but you can also lay it down, see it later. I think $29. This is very, very in its pocket. Like, I would exactly expect wine of this quality to be around this price. So $29 is where we are. Okay. Anyways, that's it. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. Send me a text. Again, I'll be in the middle of Chile, so I may not get to you right away. But otherwise, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you all next week. Toodaloo.